Your mind never stops working, even when your body rests, and that is why the moments before you fall asleep matter more than most people realize. Every night, your thoughts settle into a quiet space where your deeper mind listens closely, sorts through your day, and shapes the way you will think and act tomorrow. This audiobook takes you inside that quiet space and shows you how to guide it with intention, clarity, and confidence. You will learn how simple nightly habits can calm your emotions, strengthen your goals, and help you wake with a clearer sense of direction. You will understand how your thoughts transform while you sleep, how your beliefs shift when your mind is relaxed, and how you can use that time to build emotional strength and mental stability. As you listen, you will discover how to gently release old feelings that hold you back, how to set intentions that support your future, and how to use nightly affirmations to sharpen your decision-making. Each chapter offers practical steps you can use right away, without pressure or complicated routines. You will feel the difference as your nights become more peaceful and your mornings begin with more confidence and focus. This audiobook is an invitation to improve your life from the inside out. If you have ever wanted calmer thoughts, stronger discipline, or a clearer path forward, what you learn here can help you achieve it. Stay with this journey until the end, because the ideas you are about to hear can change the way you sleep, the way you think, and the way you shape your future. Chapter 1. Train your mind to absorb positive thoughts during sleep. Your mind is always active, even when your body finally releases the weight of the day and drifts into rest. The world becomes quiet, your eyes close, and your breathing settles into a calm rhythm, but your mind continues its work without interruption. During sleep, your subconscious steps forward and listens more closely than it does when you are awake. It observes every thought you carried throughout the day, every worry you held onto, every belief that shaped the way you responded to the world, and every intention you set or avoided. This is why the time before sleep is powerful. In those final minutes of the day, you hand your subconscious a set of instructions that it will follow without resistance. If you give it mental noise, it repeats noise. If you give it fear, it repeats fear. But if you give it positive direction, steady thoughts, and calm intention, it begins to shape your inner world in a way that changes your outer life. You do not have to force your subconscious to work for you, because it already does. The real task is to guide it. When you train your mind to absorb positive thoughts during sleep, you stop letting chance decide your inner state. You stop waking up with yesterday's problems stuck to your thinking. You stop carrying old emotional burdens that no longer serve you. Instead, you begin to rise each day with a stronger sense of clarity, purpose, and balance. You begin to feel a shift inside you that is subtle at first, but powerful in its long-term effect. Your emotional reactions become calmer. Your daily decisions become more intentional. Your inner judgment becomes sharper. Your days begin to flow with a sense of direction rather than confusion. This is the work of the subconscious when you feed it the right mental seeds before sleep. Most people end their day with distraction. They fall asleep with the noise of the world still ringing in the mind. They carry arguments, stress, and unresolved thoughts into the last moments of their evening, and they hand their subconscious a message that reflects tension rather than peace. Over time, this shapes their behavior, their confidence, their patience, and even their self-worth. When you learn to control what plays in your mind before sleeping, you take back control of your future days. You give your inner world a chance to heal, grow, and prepare you for better choices. It does not require pressure or intensity. It requires consistency, intention, and the willingness to set a healthier tone for your inner life. You can begin this process by observing what you currently feed your mind before sleep. Many people underestimate the influence of their nightly routine. They assume that sleep erases the stress of the day, but sleep processes everything you held in your thoughts, whether good or harmful. The mind does not forget. It organizes, records, and reinforces. This means you cannot bring chaos into the final moments of your night and expect clarity in the morning. You cannot fill your mind with negativity and expect strength. You cannot carry self-doubt into your sleep and expect confidence. What you place in your thoughts before closing your eyes is far more important than most people realize. Your subconscious absorbs it like a sponge. Training your mind to absorb positive thoughts during sleep begins with a simple practice: slowing down your mental activity before bed. This does not require any special technique. It simply requires awareness. You give yourself permission to quiet the mind. You choose what deserves your attention and what does not. You decide what enters your inner space and what stays outside. When your mind is calmer, it becomes easier to guide your thoughts. When your thoughts are guided, they become more useful. When they become useful, your subconscious begins to work in your favor. The first step toward this change is deciding that you will no longer end your day with the same mental patterns that limit you. You may have spent years allowing negative self-talk to fill your nights. You may have allowed anxiety or fear to speak louder than your goals. You may have allowed past experiences to shape your inner voice, but each night gives you a new chance to reset your mind. Every time you prepare to sleep, you open a doorway to inner transformation that does not require force or struggle. It only requires conscious direction. Spend a moment each night reflecting on the thoughts you want to carry with you into sleep. These thoughts should be simple, steady, and positive. They should not be dramatic or filled with pressure. Your subconscious prefers clarity over intensity. Thoughts such as, "I am improving," "I am becoming stronger," "I deserve peace," "I am learning each day," or "I am moving in the right direction," are powerful because they guide your subconscious toward growth rather than fear. You do not need to say them loudly. You only need to let them settle into the mind with calm intention. Your subconscious absorbs gentle direction much more effectively than forceful words. As you practice this nightly guidance, you will notice that your emotional state in the morning begins to shift. You may wake up feeling more grounded. You may notice that your reactions to stress become slower and more thoughtful. You may start recognizing opportunities you once overlooked. You may begin carrying more inner confidence that appears without effort. This is your subconscious responding to the new information you are feeding it each night. When your inner world becomes cleaner, your outer behavior naturally follows. There will be nights when your mind is filled with tension or worry. You may feel mentally exhausted or emotionally heavy. This is not failure. This is simply a sign that your inner world is releasing old patterns. When these moments happen, do not resist them. Instead, allow them to pass through the mind and gently redirect yourself back to positive thoughts. Each redirection, even if small, trains your subconscious to follow your lead rather than your fears. Over time, these small moments create a powerful shift. You no longer become controlled by reactive thinking. You take ownership of the thoughts that shape your future. Your subconscious listens closely to repetition. This means the more often you feed your mind positive direction before sleep, the faster it rewires your beliefs, emotions, and habits. Repetition does not have to be complicated. Even a single sentence repeated consistently before sleep can produce long-term change. It does not matter if the change feels slow. Real transformation is not measured by speed, it is measured by consistency. The mind does not rush, it reshapes gradually. When you stay committed, the results come naturally. Another important part of training your mind during sleep is releasing the negative thoughts you carried throughout the day. If you go to bed holding resentment, fear, or frustration, your subconscious carries that emotional weight into the night. This can create confusion, restlessness, or emotional heaviness in the morning. To avoid this, spend a few minutes each night clearing your internal space. You can do this by recognizing what no longer deserves your attention. When you acknowledge a negative thought without feeding it, it begins to lose its power. When you release it, you free space for better thoughts to enter. Releasing negativity before sleep does not require deep emotional struggle. It only requires the willingness to let go of what harms your inner peace. You do not need to fix every situation in your life before sleeping. You do not need to solve every problem. You only need to remove the emotional noise that prevents your mind from resting. When your mind rests well, your subconscious works well. When your subconscious works well, your daily life becomes clearer. Positive sleep conditioning is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing what you want to carry into your future. It is about giving your subconscious a clear direction instead of letting your past define your thoughts. It is about understanding that your mind is not your enemy, even when it feels overwhelmed. Your mind becomes your ally when you guide it with patience and consistency. Every night becomes an opportunity to reshape your internal world. Another practical step to train your mind to absorb positive thoughts is setting a clear intention before sleep. An intention is a simple statement about the direction you want your life to move toward. It can be as simple as wanting more focus, confidence, peace, strength, or clarity. When you set an intention before sleep, your subconscious begins searching for ways to support that direction. It uses your memories, experiences, emotions, and patterns to align your behavior with your intention. Over time, this leads to a noticeable shift in your decisions, mindset, and actions. You may find yourself waking up with sudden insight about challenges you once found confusing. You may begin approaching situations with more patience or clarity. You may notice improvements in your communication, discipline, or sense of purpose. This happens because your subconscious works in the background to help you move toward the intention you placed before sleep. You are giving it a goal, and your mind prefers having a direction rather than wandering aimlessly. Training your mind during sleep is also strengthened by the environment you create before bedtime. A noisy or chaotic environment makes it harder for the mind to settle. A calm and simple environment signals to your subconscious that it is safe to release the tension of the day. You do not need a perfect setup. You only need enough quiet to hear yourself think. You can dim the lights, silence distractions, or breathe slowly to calm your nervous system. These small choices prepare your mind for deeper absorption of positive thoughts. One powerful shift happens when you begin to understand that your subconscious does not respond to fear-based pressure. It responds to clear, calm, consistent direction. Many people try to force change through intensity, but the subconscious works best through repetition and steadiness. A steady message repeated over time becomes a belief becomes a habit becomes a lifestyle. This is why nightly mental conditioning is one of the most effective ways to shape your mindset. When you train your mind before sleeping, you are not just influencing your nighttime thoughts, you are influencing the way you live. You are building resilience, patience, confidence, and emotional stability. You are preparing yourself to face your days with more strength and less confusion. You are choosing the kind of person you want to become. Your subconscious is always listening. It listens to the way you speak to yourself. It listens to the thoughts you choose to repeat. It listens to the beliefs you reinforce. When you choose positive thoughts at night, you are telling your mind that growth is possible. You are telling your mind that you deserve peace. You are telling your mind that you are ready to rise above the patterns that once held you back. Over time, this practice becomes easier. It becomes something your mind naturally understands. You may even reach a point where your subconscious begins guiding you toward positive thinking without effort. You may notice that your inner voice becomes kinder, clearer, and more encouraging. This is the result of the work you did at night, training your mind with intention rather than allowing old patterns to control you. Your life does not improve by accident. It improves through the small choices you make daily, and one of the most powerful choices is guiding your thoughts before sleep. If you want clarity, feed your mind clarity at night. If you want confidence, feed your mind confidence at night. If you want peace, feed your mind peaceful thoughts. If you want growth, feed your mind direction. If you want discipline, feed your mind simple nightly routines that reinforce stability. Every night is a new chance to begin again. No matter how your day went, you can end it with intention. You can choose not to carry chaos into the next morning. You can choose not to repeat old emotional patterns. You can choose not to let fear shape your mind. You can choose growth. You can choose peace. You can choose to train your subconscious into becoming your greatest ally. Your mind is powerful. Your subconscious is even more powerful. And sleep is the bridge that connects the two. When you train your mind to absorb positive thoughts during sleep, you step into a new level of self-mastery. You begin building a life shaped by intention rather than reaction. You begin rising each day with more inner strength. You begin releasing the heaviness of the past. You begin transforming from within. You deserve a mind that supports your growth. You deserve thoughts that lift you rather than drain you. You deserve peaceful nights that prepare you for better days. And you have the ability to create this through simple, consistent, nightly practice. When you train your mind at night, you train your life. If you are ready to grow, begin tonight. Let your final thoughts be positive. Let your intentions be clear. Let your mind rest in a state of calm direction. Your subconscious will carry the rest. Chapter 2. Rewrite old beliefs to build stronger confidence each night. Every person walks through life carrying beliefs that were formed long before they understood how deeply those beliefs would shape their confidence. Some of these beliefs were learned through childhood experiences, others through painful moments, and many through repeated messages from people who did not understand the truth of your potential. These beliefs settle quietly in the background of the mind, shaping the way you speak to yourself, the way you interpret challenges, and the way you approach new opportunities. When you finally reach a point in life where you want to grow, you often discover that the real barrier is not lack of ability, but old beliefs that no longer serve you. Rewriting those beliefs is possible, especially at night when the subconscious becomes more open, more flexible, and more willing to release outdated ideas. Nighttime offers a unique opportunity to reshape the mental patterns that hold you back. When the day is over and your mind begins to slow down, your inner defenses soften. The noise of the outside world fades. Your judgments become quieter. You are more honest with yourself. In this calm, your subconscious becomes ready to absorb new information. This is the perfect moment to introduce new beliefs about who you are and who you want to become. You do not need dramatic methods to create inner change. You only need to speak to your mind with clarity and consistency at a time when it is naturally receptive. Old beliefs often come from moments when you felt small or powerless. They may have been born from mistakes or criticism that left a deep impression. Over time, these experiences turned into conclusions about your worth and ability. If you were told that you were not capable, you may have carried that message for years. If you felt unsupported, you may have learned to doubt yourself. If you were compared to others, you may have adopted the idea that you are always behind. These beliefs survive only because they go unchallenged. When you begin rewriting them each night, you take control back from the thoughts that once directed you. Begin by recognizing the beliefs you want to change. Notice the thoughts that limit you. Pay attention to the voice that tells you that you cannot grow or that you are not enough. These thoughts are not truths. They are simply old patterns that became familiar. When you identify them, you remove their power. Changing a belief does not require fighting with it. It requires replacing it with something more aligned with the person you want to become. You can do this by introducing new statements into your mind before sleep. These statements should reflect your strength, your potential, and your willingness to grow. As you prepare for sleep, give your mind a new message to work with. You might tell yourself that you are capable of learning, that you are ready to grow, that you can handle challenges, or that you are worthy of confidence. These simple thoughts help your subconscious release old ideas and adopt healthier ones. You do not need to force these new beliefs. You only need to repeat them until they feel familiar. Beliefs are built through repetition, not intensity. The more often you feed your mind healthy thoughts at night, the more naturally they become part of your identity. Confidence is not something you chase. It is something you build through self-respect and consistent inner direction. When you rewrite old beliefs, you begin building confidence from the inside out. You stop relying on external approval. You stop needing validation from others. You stop comparing yourself to people who are on a completely different path. You begin recognizing your own progress. You begin acknowledging your own strengths. You begin trusting yourself in ways you never did before. One of the most powerful changes happens when you learn to separate your past from your identity. Many people allow their past mistakes to define who they are today. They allow old fears to shape new decisions. They allow outdated beliefs to dictate their level of confidence. But your past does not determine your future. It only influences it when you allow old beliefs to stay alive. Each night gives you the chance to disconnect from those old messages and create new ones that reflect your present goals rather than your past experiences. Confidence grows when you teach your mind to support you. Nighttime rewriting helps you build this support system within yourself. When you tell yourself that you are improving, that you deserve growth, that you can handle challenges, your subconscious begins looking for ways to reinforce that belief. You may begin responding differently to stress. You may speak with more clarity. You may feel more stable in moments of uncertainty. You may begin approaching new experiences with a sense of courage rather than fear. These shifts happen gradually, but they become stronger as your new beliefs take root. There will be nights when old thoughts rise up again, trying to pull you back into familiar patterns. You may feel doubt surface or hear the old internal voice that once controlled you. This does not mean you are failing. It means your subconscious is releasing old patterns. When these moments appear, gently redirect your thoughts back to the new beliefs you are building. Consistent redirection teaches the mind that you are no longer willing to accept ideas that weaken you. Over time, your new beliefs will become stronger than the old ones because they reflect who you are becoming. Rewriting beliefs also requires honesty. You need to acknowledge the ways you have held yourself back, not to blame yourself, but to understand the source of your limitations. When you bring awareness to an old belief, you stop letting it operate silently in the background. You become conscious of your thought patterns, and from that awareness, change becomes possible. Nighttime reflection helps you see these patterns with clarity. You are not rushing. You are not distracted. You can observe your thoughts without judgment. Another powerful step is creating a vision of the person you want to be. This is not about perfect traits. It is about qualities that reflect your values. Perhaps you want to be more confident, more disciplined, more calm, or more focused. When you visualize these qualities before sleep, your subconscious begins adjusting your behavior to match them. You begin making decisions that align with your vision. You begin carrying yourself with a sense of purpose. You begin taking actions that reflect growth rather than fear. Your beliefs shape your actions. When you rewrite your beliefs, your actions naturally change. You may take opportunities you once avoided. You may speak up in situations that used to intimidate you. You may stop second-guessing yourself. You may begin trusting your judgment. This is the inner power you gain when you reshape the beliefs that once held you back. Your confidence becomes grounded in who you are, not in what others think of you. Nighttime rewriting also strengthens emotional resilience. When you adopt new beliefs that reinforce your strength, you stop being shaken by every challenge. You understand that difficulty does not mean failure. You accept that growth often requires discomfort. You learn to stay calm during uncertainty. Your new beliefs create a strong foundation that supports you through changing circumstances. You no longer collapse emotionally when something goes wrong. You recover more quickly. You remain centered. You keep moving forward. This nightly practice does not require perfection. You do not need to transform all your beliefs at once. You only need to choose one belief that limits you and begin rewriting it consistently. Once that belief weakens, you can replace another. Your confidence grows each time you release a limiting idea and adopt one that empowers you. The process is gradual and steady, and that is what makes it effective. With each night, you teach your subconscious that you are no longer living under the influence of old patterns. You teach yourself that growth is possible. You create a bond with your inner mind that becomes stronger each day. You begin trusting yourself. You begin believing in your ability to improve. You begin building the kind of confidence that does not disappear when life becomes difficult. Your mind can change. Your beliefs can change. Your confidence can grow beyond anything you once imagined. Nighttime rewriting is one of the most effective ways to guide your inner world toward that change. When you commit to this process, you are not just adjusting your thoughts, you are reshaping the way you live. You are creating a new version of yourself, built on clarity, strength, and intention. You are stepping into a life guided by inner confidence rather than old beliefs. Each night is an opportunity to rise above the limitations you once accepted. You do not need to carry those limitations into another day. You can release them. You can rewrite them. You can build a stronger mind. And when your mind grows stronger, your entire life follows. Chapter 3. Create bedtime habits that gently reshape your thinking patterns. The way you end your day shapes the way your mind will greet the next one, and this is why your bedtime habits matter far more than most people realize. Every habit you practice before sleep becomes a quiet message that your subconscious receives and continues to work with long after you close your eyes. When you create simple and intentional habits at night, you begin to guide your thinking patterns with a gentle but powerful influence. Your mind becomes more aligned, more stable, and more receptive to the changes you want to make. These habits do not have to be complicated. What matters is the consistency with which you use them and the intention you bring into them. Over time, they begin to reshape the way you think, respond, and interpret your daily experiences. Thinking patterns are often automatic. They form through repetition, exposure, and emotional experiences. Some patterns help you grow, but others keep you stuck in cycles of worry, self-doubt, or unnecessary stress. Many people spend their days reacting to life rather than consciously shaping their inner responses. By nighttime, their thoughts are cluttered, unfocused, and heavy. This makes it harder for the mind to settle, and it creates a cycle where each day feels like a continuation of the last. Bedtime habits break this cycle by introducing new mental cues that tell your mind it is safe to release the day and shift into a healthier state. One of the most important habits you can develop is giving yourself a few quiet minutes at night to reflect on the day without judgment. This helps you separate your identity from the challenges you faced. Instead of carrying unresolved tension into sleep, you acknowledge what happened and allow your mind to process it in a calm way. This teaches your subconscious to let go rather than cling to emotional noise. Over time, you will notice that your thoughts become lighter and your reactions become less overwhelming because your mind learns to release instead of hold. Another habit that gently reshapes thinking patterns is practicing gratitude before sleep. Gratitude does not erase problems, but it shifts your mental focus toward what is steady, supportive, or meaningful in your life. When practiced regularly, it strengthens the parts of your mind responsible for optimism and emotional balance. Even listing a few simple things you are thankful for can create a mental shift that relaxes your nervous system and prepares your mind for healthier thoughts. This quiet practice signals to your subconscious that not everything in your life is stressful, and that stability exists even in difficult times. A different but equally important habit is limiting the mental stimulation you expose yourself to at night. When your mind is overwhelmed with information, noise, or emotional conflict, it becomes harder to guide your thinking in a positive direction. Creating a calm environment is not about perfection. It is about giving your mind a break from the constant demand for attention. Reducing unnecessary noise, dimming bright lights, or stepping away from upsetting conversations helps your mind move into a state where positive thoughts can grow. When your mind feels safe, it becomes more open to shaping new patterns. Setting a small intention before sleep is another powerful habit. This intention is not a demand or a difficult goal. It is a simple statement that directs the mind toward a healthier direction. You might choose an intention such as wanting clarity, patience, or emotional steadiness. When you repeat this intention consistently, your subconscious begins adjusting your thoughts and behaviors to support it. You may find yourself making different choices during the day or responding differently to stress without consciously trying. This happens because your nighttime intention slowly rewires your thinking patterns through repetition. A meaningful bedtime habit is also acknowledging the progress you made during the day, even if it feels small. Many people overlook their progress because they are focused on what they still need to achieve. When you take a moment at night to recognize your efforts, you strengthen your belief in your ability to grow. This encourages your mind to adopt thinking patterns that are supportive rather than critical. Over time, you will notice that your inner voice becomes more balanced and less harsh. You begin to trust your own growth instead of constantly doubting it. Breathing practices can also help reshape thinking patterns by calming the nervous system before sleep. When your breath becomes slow and steady, your mind follows. Calm breathing lowers mental tension and helps your thoughts move into a more relaxed state. This creates space for new patterns to form because your mind is no longer in a defensive or overwhelmed mode. This habit teaches your body and mind to work together, making it easier to manage stress and remain grounded. Keeping your environment simple at bedtime also influences your thinking. A space that feels peaceful encourages a mind that is calm. You do not need a perfect environment. You only need to reduce unnecessary stresses that keep your mind restless. When your external environment is calm, your internal environment can follow more easily. Another helpful habit is practicing gentle self-talk before sleep. Many people allow their minds to run through everything that went wrong during the day. They focus on mistakes, imperfections, or worries. When you replace this with supportive thoughts, you give your subconscious a new foundation to build on. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about speaking to yourself in a way that encourages growth rather than creating unnecessary mental pressure. When done consistently, this nightly self-talk becomes the default tone of your inner voice. Taking a moment to physically relax your body is also a habit that affects your thinking patterns. When your body is tense, your thoughts become sharper, faster, and more reactive. When your muscles relax, your mind slows down naturally. You may notice that your thoughts become clearer and less chaotic. This connection between body and mind makes bedtime relaxation an essential step in reshaping thought patterns. A gentle nightly habit is reviewing the choices you made throughout the day and considering how you might handle similar situations differently. This is not about criticizing yourself. It is about creating awareness. This habit trains your mind to think with clarity and intentionality rather than reacting automatically. Over time, you will notice improvements in your decision-making because your mind becomes accustomed to thoughtful reflection. Creating consistency in your bedtime routine is one of the most effective ways to reshape thinking patterns. Consistency gives your mind a sense of stability. When your mind knows what to expect, it becomes easier to move into a calm state. This stability is essential for building new mental habits. You do not need a long routine. Even a few steady practices repeated each night can have a strong impact on your thinking. All of these bedtime habits work together to teach your mind a new way of functioning. They help you release the chaos of the day, calm your emotional responses, and create a healthier internal environment for growth. When you practice these habits consistently, your thinking patterns begin to shift naturally. You start noticing changes in your attitude, your focus, your emotional reactions, and your overall sense of clarity. You begin waking up with a mind that feels lighter and more organized. You begin responding to challenges with more strength and less fear. Gentle bedtime habits do not force change. They guide your mind toward it. They help you build a stronger relationship with your inner world. They show you that improvement does not require pressure but conscious direction. By ending your day with intention, you shape the way your mind works in the days to come. You create space for healthier thinking, better decisions, and a deeper sense of confidence. Each night becomes a quiet opportunity to reshape your mind in a way that supports your growth and helps you become the person you want to be. Chapter 4. Strengthen your goals by feeding your mind clear intentions. Goals become stronger when the mind understands exactly where you want to go and why it matters. Many people set goals with enthusiasm but fail to give their mind a clear sense of direction, which leads to hesitation, distraction, and inconsistency. When your goals lack clarity, your mind cannot support them with energy or commitment because it does not know what to build toward. That is why feeding your mind clear intentions is essential. Intentions act as mental anchors. They give your subconscious a stable direction, allowing your efforts to become more focused and your decisions more aligned with what you truly want. When your intentions are clear, your goals stop feeling distant. They become something your mind works toward, even when you are not fully aware of it. The mind does not need dramatic statements to understand your intentions. It needs honesty, simplicity, and consistency. When you clearly state what you want, your subconscious begins organizing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors around that direction. This does not happen instantly. It happens through steady repetition and a willingness to stay connected to your deeper purpose. The more clearly you feed your mind your intentions, the easier it becomes to notice opportunities that support your goals. You become more aware of what moves you forward and what pulls you back. This awareness strengthens your inner discipline without force. Intentions differ from goals because they describe the way you want to approach your life, not just what you want to achieve. A goal might be something like improving your finances or strengthening your health. An intention, however, focuses on the mindset you choose to carry, such as wanting to act with discipline, patience, clarity, and determination. When your intentions are strong, your goals gain direction. When your intentions are weak, your goals lose structure. Nighttime is the ideal moment to reinforce your intentions because your mind is quieter and more open to receiving new instructions. Feeding your mind clear intentions each night helps erase the mental confusion you gather during the day. Throughout the day, you are influenced by external demands, pressures, and distractions. These influences can weaken your focus and make your goals feel distant. When you end your evening by reminding yourself of your intentions, you bring your attention back to what matters. You give your subconscious a message that helps it reorganize your inner world during sleep. Your mind becomes more aligned with your long-term direction rather than the noise of daily life. One powerful way to strengthen your goals is to restate your intentions with calm conviction before sleep. This does not require effort, it only requires honesty. You might remind yourself that you want to grow, that you want to act with purpose, or that you want to remain steady even when things become difficult. These simple statements guide your subconscious toward clarity. They work in the background while you rest, helping you wake with a more grounded sense of direction. You may find that tasks you once avoided become easier. You may feel more confident approaching challenges. You may notice fewer moments of doubt because your intentions give your mind something steady to hold on to. Clear intentions also help you strengthen your goals by filtering out distractions. When you are clear about your direction, it becomes easier to say no to what does not support your growth. You stop wasting energy on meaningless tasks. You stop getting lost in worry. You stop chasing goals that do not align with your values. Your mind begins to recognize what is useful and what is not. This clarity builds internal discipline, making it easier to stay committed even when motivation fades. Another important aspect of strengthening your goals is reviewing your intentions with sincerity. Many people repeat goals without truly connecting to them. They speak about what they want but never invest emotional meaning into the desire. When you speak your intentions with sincerity, you give them emotional weight. Your mind responds more strongly to feelings than to empty statements. This emotional connection helps your subconscious take your intentions seriously. It allows the intentions to sink deeper, shaping your habits, actions, and perspective. Your intentions should not be vague. They should be specific enough that your mind understands exactly what you are aiming for. Instead of thinking in general terms like wanting success or improvement, consider what qualities you want to strengthen within yourself. You may want to act with more self-control, stay focused on important tasks, or approach challenges with confidence. When your intentions have focus, they give your goals a clear structure. The mind thrives on structure. It does not perform well when drifting without direction. Nighttime intention setting also helps strengthen your inner mindset. When you remind yourself of your intentions, you prepare your mind to respond differently to the next day's challenges. You may react with more patience. You may handle pressure with more calmness. You may make choices that reflect your long-term goals rather than your immediate emotions. This shift happens because your subconscious received a clear message the night before, and it uses that message to guide your responses. Your goals become easier to follow when your intentions align with your actions. Many people struggle with consistency because their mind sends mixed signals. They say they want one thing but act in ways that support the opposite. Clear nightly intentions reduce this conflict. They help your inner world and outer behavior move in the same direction. This creates a sense of balance that strengthens your confidence. Another way to feed your mind clear intentions is to visualize the kind of mindset you want to carry. Visualizing your mindset is different from imagining material success. It is about seeing yourself behave in a way that aligns with your values. You might visualize yourself staying committed to your habits, approaching challenges calmly, or treating yourself with respect. This mental image helps your subconscious adopt the qualities you want to strengthen. Visualization gives your intentions emotional depth, making them more impactful. Consistency is essential in this process. Feeding your mind clear intentions once or twice will not create lasting change. Your subconscious needs regular reminders. When you repeat your intentions each night, your mind begins to internalize them as part of your identity. They become the foundation on which your thoughts and actions rest. This consistency builds inner strength. It also makes your goals feel more attainable because you are guiding your mind every night toward the direction you want. Clear intentions also protect your goals from becoming diluted by fear or doubt. When you strengthen your mind with intention, you reduce the influence of negative thoughts. You stop believing that setbacks define your path. You stop letting uncertainty weaken your confidence. Instead, you develop a steadiness that carries you through difficult phases. Your intentions become a protective shield for your goals, keeping you aligned with your direction even when external circumstances challenge you. Strengthening your goals through intention requires patience. You are shaping your inner world, not rushing toward a finish line. The mind responds best to calm repetition. When you set your intentions gently and consistently, you give your subconscious time to adapt. Over time, your thinking becomes clearer, your goals become more structured, and your decisions become more aligned with your long-term success. By feeding your mind clear intentions every night, you take control of your inner direction. You build a mental foundation that supports your goals. You create a stronger sense of purpose. You develop a mindset that can handle challenges without losing focus. With each night, your mind becomes more trained, more aligned, and more prepared to help you build the life you want. Chapter 5. Clean your inner thoughts to release hidden mental blocks. Every person carries inner thoughts that shape their daily choices, emotional reactions, and long-term habits, even when they are not fully aware of them. These thoughts build patterns that guide the way you respond to challenges, the way you speak to yourself, and the way you interpret your life. Some of these thoughts help you grow, while others quietly block your progress. Hidden mental blocks often come from unresolved experiences, old fears, or beliefs that were formed when you did not have the strength or understanding you have today. Cleaning your inner thoughts is a deliberate practice that helps you release these blocks so your mind can function with clarity and purpose instead of burden and confusion. When you clean your inner thoughts, you create space for new ideas, healthier beliefs, and greater emotional balance. Mental blocks are not always obvious. They may appear as hesitation, frustration, or lack of motivation. They may show up as self-doubt, overthinking, or the belief that growth is out of reach. They may influence your confidence without your awareness, making you feel stuck even when you are capable of moving forward. These blocks thrive when they remain hidden, but once you bring them to the surface, they lose their strength. Cleaning your inner thoughts begins with the willingness to observe what you are holding inside. By acknowledging your internal clutter, you take the first step toward releasing the patterns that no longer serve you. A powerful way to clean your inner thoughts is to allow yourself to reflect honestly on the emotions you carried throughout the day. Many people go through life ignoring their true feelings because they fear being overwhelmed by them. However, when thoughts remain unexamined, they turn into barriers that affect everything from decision-making to patience. Taking a few moments to quietly notice your thoughts without judging them helps you bring awareness to what is weighing you down. Awareness weakens the influence of mental blocks because it shifts you from reacting unconsciously to understanding consciously. Another way to release hidden mental blocks is by recognizing the thoughts you often repeat in your mind. These repeated thoughts are often clues to deeper issues. For example, thoughts such as, "I cannot handle this," or "I always fail," may have roots in past experiences that were never processed. When you become aware of these patterns, you can begin replacing them with thoughts that reflect your current strength rather than your old limitations. This practice does not require dramatic statements. It requires small, truthful reminders of your ability to grow. Over time, these new thoughts reshape the way you see yourself and weaken the beliefs that once restricted you. Cleaning your inner thoughts also involves letting go of emotional residue from past situations. Many mental blocks come from unresolved memories that continue to influence your thinking. This residue may include anger you never expressed, disappointment that you internalized, or fear that became part of your identity. When you allow yourself to acknowledge these emotions, you give your mind permission to release them. You do not need to revisit painful experiences in detail. You only need to admit that they affected you and that you are ready to move beyond them. This acceptance softens the mental barriers that were created in moments of vulnerability. A helpful practice is identifying the thoughts that drain your energy. These thoughts may include unnecessary worries, harsh self-criticism, or assumptions about situations that have not even occurred. When you recognize which thoughts create tension, you can actively choose to detach from them. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to give power to thoughts that pull you away from clarity. As you reduce the influence of draining thoughts, your mind becomes lighter, allowing your natural confidence and clarity to surface. Another important step in cleaning your inner thoughts is creating a small space of mental stillness each night. Mental stillness does not require complex techniques. It can be as simple as sitting quietly and allowing your mind to slow down. In this stillness, the noise of the day settles, giving your subconscious room to breathe. This practice helps you recognize which thoughts feel heavy and which feel neutral. Heavy thoughts usually point to mental blocks that need attention. When you practice stillness regularly, your mind becomes more skilled at identifying what does not belong. Writing down your thoughts can also help release hidden blocks. Putting your thoughts into words helps you see them clearly instead of carrying them as emotional weight. This practice turns vague feelings into tangible ideas, making them easier to understand and let go of. You may discover patterns you never noticed before. You may uncover beliefs that you absorbed from others without realizing it. You may recognize fears that have been shaping your behavior in subtle ways. Writing helps you organize your internal world, reducing the clutter that keeps you emotionally stuck. Cleaning your inner thoughts often involves forgiveness, not necessarily forgiveness directed toward others, but forgiveness directed toward yourself. Many mental blocks come from self-blame, or the belief that you should have been stronger, smarter, or more aware in the past. These beliefs create internal tension that affects your present. When you forgive yourself for moments when you did not know better, you release the emotional burden that contributes to mental blocks. This self-forgiveness opens a pathway for personal growth because it frees your mind from unnecessary guilt. Releasing mental blocks also requires that you stop holding on to expectations that no longer match who you are becoming. Some expectations may have been placed on you by others, while some came from earlier versions of yourself. When expectations no longer align with your goals or values, they create pressure that clutters your thinking. Letting go of outdated expectations helps you think with clarity and move forward with a sense of freedom. You stop comparing yourself to unrealistic standards and begin choosing thoughts that support your growth. Another powerful way to clean your inner thoughts is by practicing emotional honesty. Instead of pushing aside uncomfortable feelings, allow yourself to acknowledge them as part of your human experience. When you face your emotions directly, you reduce their power over your thoughts. Emotional honesty helps dissolve mental blocks because the mind no longer needs to protect itself through avoidance. You learn to trust yourself more deeply, knowing that you can handle difficult emotions without losing control. As you continue cleaning your inner thoughts, you begin to notice a shift in the way you experience daily life. You may feel more grounded. You may find it easier to make decisions. You may notice that situations that once triggered anxiety no longer have the same impact. These changes occur because your internal space becomes clearer. Mental blocks thrive in clutter, but they cannot survive in a mind that is aware, balanced, and intentional. Cleaning your inner thoughts is not a one-time process. It is an ongoing practice. Each day brings new experiences, new challenges, and new emotions. As you encounter these, your mind will naturally form new patterns. By cleaning your inner thoughts regularly, you prevent these patterns from becoming rigid or limiting. You ensure that your inner world remains flexible, open, and capable of growth. When your inner thoughts are clean, you reconnect with your natural strength. You stop sabotaging your progress. You stop holding on to fears that were never yours to carry. You begin approaching life with clarity instead of confusion. The path forward becomes easier to see because your mind is not clouded by unnecessary noise. You develop a deeper relationship with yourself, built on understanding rather than judgment. Releasing hidden mental blocks gives you access to potential that was always within you. It frees your mind from old burdens and allows new strengths to emerge. As you continue this practice each night, you create a mental environment where growth becomes natural and effortless. You become more patient with yourself, more confident in your choices, and more aligned with your purpose. Cleaning your inner thoughts is an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your mental space and refuse to allow outdated patterns to control your life. Each moment you spend on this practice adds clarity to your mind and strength to your character. In time, the hidden blocks that once limited you lose their power, leaving you with a mind that feels lighter, sharper, and capable of building the life you desire. Chapter 6. Guide your sleep with simple routines that promote growth. Growth becomes easier when the mind ends each day with stability, calm, and clear direction, and this is why guiding your sleep with simple routines is so effective. Many people carry the weight of the entire day into the night, leaving their mind tangled in thoughts that make rest shallow and recovery incomplete. When the mind enters sleep in a state of disorder, the subconscious spends the night processing unnecessary stress instead of supporting emotional balance and mental clarity. Simple routines can change this pattern by helping you settle your thoughts, regulate your emotions, and create a steady environment where your mind can restore itself. These routines do not need complexity. They only need consistency and sincerity. When practiced regularly, they shape the way your mind rests, making growth more natural and your inner world more organized. A beneficial routine to guide your sleep is establishing a quiet transition period before bed. This transition allows your mind to shift away from the fast pace of daily activities. When you deliberately slow down, you signal to your nervous system that it is time to release urgency. This slows your mental rhythm and helps your thoughts become more neutral. During this transition time, you can reflect, breathe deeply, or simply sit silently. The purpose is to create a small space where your mind can breathe without pressure. Over time, this practice trains your brain to move into a restful state more quickly, making every night more restorative. Another simple but powerful routine is reducing emotional intensity before sleep. Emotional tension carried into the night often fuels overthinking, restlessness, and shallow sleep. When you take a moment to calm your emotions, you create the mental foundation needed for deeper rest. This can be done by acknowledging your feelings instead of letting them swirl inside you. When you gently recognize what you feel, you prevent those emotions from dominating your subconscious. This emotional clarity helps your mind work through challenges with more balance instead of processing them in a chaotic way. A helpful routine that promotes growth is reviewing your actions from the day without criticism. The goal is not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. This gentle reflection helps you identify what supported your progress and what held you back. It teaches you to become more aware of your habits and choices. Awareness is essential for growth because it exposes areas where small adjustments can make a meaningful difference. When you review your day calmly, your subconscious processes this information during sleep, helping you develop better judgment and clearer thinking over time. Another routine that supports growth is organizing your environment before sleep. Your surroundings influence your inner state more than you may realize. A calm environment helps create a calm mind. When your space is simple, clean, and free from unnecessary clutter, your mind enters rest without distraction. This organization signals to your subconscious that you value clarity and stability. Over time, your external order promotes internal order, making it easier for your mind to focus on growth rather than stress. Guiding your sleep can also be done through consistent bedtime timing. The body thrives on routine. When you sleep at irregular times, your internal rhythm becomes confused, which affects your mental and emotional balance. A steady sleep schedule trains your body to release tension more easily each night. This consistency promotes deeper rest, which strengthens your focus, improves your mood, and increases your ability to handle challenges. When your body knows when to rest, your mind follows naturally. Another effective routine is practicing gentle breathing before sleep. Slow, steady breathing reduces mental tension and stabilizes your emotional state. It calms the nervous system and moves the mind toward relaxation. When you incorporate even a few minutes of intentional breathing, you help your thoughts become quieter, making it easier to guide your mind toward peaceful rest. This simple act can greatly influence how your subconscious absorbs information and supports your growth. Writing down the thoughts you want to release before sleeping is another valuable routine. When you write, you remove mental weight from your mind and place it onto paper. This prevents your brain from cycling through the same thoughts during the night. Writing clears your internal space, helping you sleep with a lighter mind. It also helps your subconscious recognize what no longer needs your attention, allowing it to focus on building healthier patterns instead of repeating old ones. Another routine that guides your sleep is setting a simple intention for the next day. This intention does not need to be complicated. It can be a single idea that represents the direction you want to take. When you place this intention in your mind before sleep, your subconscious begins working with it during the night. You may wake with more clarity, feel more motivated, or approach situations with a steadier mindset. The subconscious responds strongly to intentions placed at night because the mind is more receptive and less distracted. Preparing your body for rest is another important routine. Physical tension often hides beneath mental tension. When your body is tight, your mind struggles to settle. Stretching gently, loosening your muscles, or simply allowing yourself to rest in a comfortable position helps release physical stiffness. As your body relaxes, your thoughts naturally slow. This connection between body and mind helps you enter sleep with greater ease. A relaxed body supports a focused mind, and a focused mind supports growth. Another quiet routine that promotes personal development is choosing one thought that supports your long-term growth and holding it gently before sleep. This thought should not create pressure. It should reflect your desire to improve. When you hold this thought in your mind calmly, your subconscious takes it in and begins to reinforce it. Night after night, this practice rewires your thinking and strengthens your commitment to becoming a better version of yourself. Limiting unnecessary stimulation before bed is another important routine. Stimulation can come from noise, intense conversations, digital screens, or stressful tasks. When you reduce stimulation, you reduce mental overload. Your mind becomes smoother, quieter, and more prepared for rest. This quieter state makes it easier for your subconscious to work with your intentions rather than sorting through emotional clutter. A routine that often goes overlooked is acknowledging small successes from the day. Many people focus only on what they need to change, forgetting to recognize what they already did well. When you acknowledge progress, you reinforce a mindset of capability. This encourages your subconscious to continue supporting productive behaviors. This recognition strengthens your confidence and creates positive momentum that carries into the next day. Another helpful routine is practicing mental detachment from unfinished tasks. Many people lie awake thinking about what they still need to do. When you mentally acknowledge that tasks will be handled at the appropriate time, you free your mind from worry. This mental release helps you sleep with a sense of order instead of anxiety. Over time, this habit reduces overthinking and strengthens your emotional balance. Guiding your sleep also involves giving yourself permission to rest. Many people feel guilty when they slow down, especially if they did not accomplish everything they planned. This guilt creates mental resistance that disrupts sleep. When you give yourself permission to rest, you allow your mind to enter sleep without tension. This allows your subconscious to work more effectively, supporting your growth instead of fighting against emotional pressure. As you continue practicing these routines, you will notice gradual but meaningful changes in your mindset. Your sleep becomes deeper, your mornings feel lighter, your decisions become clearer. You begin approaching life with more confidence and emotional steadiness. These changes happen because your mind is no longer carrying the weight of the day into the night. Instead, it is being guided by routines that support growth, clarity, and peace. Simple routines have the power to transform your nights and shape your days. They help you build a healthy relationship with rest, reduce mental noise, and strengthen your inner stability. When your nights are guided with intention, your days become more focused and fulfilling. Each routine becomes a gentle step toward the version of yourself you want to become. Over time, these steps accumulate, creating a strong foundation for continuous growth. Chapter 7. Build emotional strength by restoring calm before sleeping. Emotional strength grows when you learn to settle your mind before sleep and give yourself a moment of genuine calm. Many people end their day with tension, rushing thoughts, and unresolved feelings that carry into the night and influence the quality of their rest. When the mind enters sleep in a state of emotional chaos, it becomes harder to recover, harder to think clearly, and harder to wake up with a stable mindset. Restoring calm before sleeping is not only about relaxation, it is about building emotional discipline. It is a deliberate practice that teaches your mind how to let go of unnecessary stress and move into a state where deeper strength can develop. When you master this practice, you wake each day with a stronger emotional foundation, making it easier to navigate challenges without losing your balance. The first step toward restoring calm is becoming aware of the emotional weight you are carrying at the end of the day. This weight may come from conversations, responsibilities, disappointments, or internal worries that quietly build up. When you bring awareness to these emotions, you prevent them from settling into your subconscious unchecked. Awareness alone reduces their power because it shifts your mind from reacting to observing. Observing your emotions without judgment helps you understand them rather than be controlled by them. This understanding becomes the gateway to emotional strength. Another important part of restoring calm is separating the events of the day from your identity. Many people internalize challenges and interpret them as personal failures. This mental habit creates emotional tension that follows them into sleep. By reminding yourself that not every difficult moment defines who you are, you release unnecessary pressure. This simple mental shift allows your subconscious to focus on recovery instead of reinforcing negative self-beliefs. Emotional strength grows when you learn to carry experiences lightly rather than letting them harden into self-doubt. A helpful practice in building calm is slowing down your breathing before bed. When your breathing becomes steady, your nervous system shifts into a state of rest. This physical change influences your emotions, making it easier to relax. A calm breath can quiet the mind in ways that forceful thoughts cannot. It gently resets your internal state, reminding your body and mind that the day is over and it is safe to release tension. This nightly breathing practice becomes a quiet message to your subconscious that emotional stability matters. Another valuable habit is releasing the urge to solve every problem before sleeping. Many people feel anxious when tasks remain unfinished or situations remain unresolved. They carry this anxiety into the night, creating emotional restlessness that disrupts sleep. When you accept that not everything requires immediate action, you free yourself from unnecessary strain. This acceptance is not avoidance, it is emotional maturity. It teaches your mind to focus on what can be done now and allow the rest to unfold in its own time. This mindset creates calm and builds inner resilience. Restoring calm also involves creating a moment of stillness where you allow your thoughts to settle naturally. This stillness gives your mind the space it needs to process the day without overwhelm. You do not need to control every thought. You only need to let them pass without attaching new emotions to them. This practice weakens the grip of stressful thoughts because you no longer react to them with urgency. Over time, this stillness sharpens your emotional strength. You learn to remain steady even when your mind tries to pull you in multiple directions. A meaningful part of nighttime calm is releasing emotional energy that is not yours to carry. People often absorb the moods, frustrations, and expectations of others without realizing it. This emotional load creates mental exhaustion that follows them into sleep. Taking a moment to mentally distance yourself from other people's emotions protects your inner state. You remind yourself that your emotional well-being is your responsibility and that not every situation requires your involvement. This separation helps you sleep with a lighter heart and a stronger sense of personal boundaries. Creating a calming environment also supports emotional strength. A peaceful space reduces internal tension and reminds your mind that it is time to unwind. Dimming lights, lowering noise, or stepping away from digital stimulation helps your brain transition into rest. When your environment supports calm, your emotions follow. Over time, this becomes a nightly signal that allows your body and mind to settle more quickly. Another way to restore calm before sleep is practicing emotional acknowledgement. Instead of suppressing your feelings, allow yourself to name them. When you acknowledge a feeling, you reduce its intensity. You stop resisting and start processing. Emotional acknowledgement teaches your subconscious that feelings are safe to experience and do not need to be feared. This strengthens your emotional capacity. You become less overwhelmed by strong emotions because you understand how to sit with them and release them gently. A helpful routine for calming the mind is revisiting the day with compassion. Instead of criticizing yourself for what you could have done differently, you acknowledge that you did what you could with the awareness and energy you had at the time. This compassionate view reduces emotional tension and prevents self-blame from entering your sleep. When you treat yourself with kindness, you create emotional security. This security helps your subconscious rebuild strength during rest. Restoring calm can also involve grounding your mind in the present moment. Many emotional struggles come from thinking about the past or worrying about the future. When you bring your focus back to the present, you interrupt these patterns. You remind yourself that the moment before sleep is for peace, not analysis. This grounding helps you let go of what you cannot change right now, making space for emotional clarity. Another effective practice is expressing gratitude for the moments that supported you during the day. Gratitude softens emotional tension and shifts your mind toward balance. It helps you see that not every part of the day was heavy. Even the smallest positive moment can help restore emotional calm. This gratitude does not ignore challenges. It balances them. It reminds your mind that even on difficult days, there is something steady to hold on to. Releasing negative self-talk is another essential step in restoring calm. Harsh inner criticism creates emotional strain that carries into sleep. When you replace criticism with gentle understanding, you free your mind from unnecessary pressure. This simple shift strengthens your emotional stability because you learn to treat yourself as someone worth supporting instead of judging. Emotional strength grows when your inner voice becomes a source of stability rather than tension. A final part of restoring calm is giving yourself permission to end the day. Many people mentally stay in the past even after the day is over. When you give yourself permission to rest, you acknowledge that the day is complete and does not need to be relived in your mind. This release prevents emotional energy from spilling into the night. It allows your subconscious to work on healing and growth instead of processing stress. As you practice restoring calm each night, you will begin to notice meaningful changes. You will wake up with a clearer mind. You will react to challenges with more patience. You will carry less emotional tension throughout the day. Your inner world becomes more organized, making emotional stability easier to maintain. Each night becomes an opportunity to strengthen your resilience, not through force, but through gentle, intentional calm. Emotional strength is built in quiet moments when you choose clarity over chaos and peace over worry. By restoring calm before sleep, you train your mind to face life with composure and confidence. You create a foundation that supports your growth, protects your well-being, and deepens your inner strength. Chapter 8. Improve decision-making by programming new nightly affirmations. Good decisions come from a steady mind, and a steady mind is built through repeated guidance. Many people struggle with decision-making not because they lack intelligence or capability, but because their thoughts are influenced by old fears, outdated beliefs, and emotional habits that were never examined. When you program new nightly affirmations, you shape the way your mind processes choices, evaluates situations, and responds to challenges. Affirmations spoken at night have a deeper effect because your subconscious becomes more open, less defensive, and more willing to accept new mental instructions. By giving your mind clear, supportive statements before sleep, you build the inner clarity needed to make strong decisions in your everyday life. Decision-making becomes difficult when the mind is cluttered with hesitation or self-doubt. These internal barriers often grow over time, built through repeated moments where you questioned yourself or feared the outcome of your choices. Nightly affirmations help dissolve these barriers by replacing hesitation with confidence and doubt with clarity. When you speak affirmations that support decisive thinking, you train your subconscious to trust your judgment. You begin approaching choices with a calm mind rather than a fearful one. This shift changes how you handle both small decisions and major life choices. A key part of improving decision-making is teaching your mind to focus on what you can control. Many poor decisions come from reacting to emotions rather than evaluating reality. Nightly affirmations can help shift your mindset toward clarity and balance. When you affirm that you act with understanding, that you choose with purpose, or that you trust your ability to think clearly, you give your subconscious a framework that strengthens your mental discipline. Over time, these statements reshape your thinking patterns, making thoughtful decisions feel more natural. Programming your mind with affirmations works because repetition creates familiarity. The mind follows what it recognizes, and when you repeat affirmations consistently, they begin to feel true. Your inner dialogue shifts from uncertainty to confidence. This does not mean that you become reckless. It means you stop doubting your capability. You begin to evaluate choices based on facts instead of fear. You no longer overthink simple decisions, and you no longer freeze when faced with complex ones. Your mind becomes more balanced, which makes decisive action easier. Each affirmation you use should serve a purpose. It should guide your mind toward a quality you want to strengthen: clarity, courage, patience, focus, or understanding. These qualities directly influence decision-making. For example, affirming that you choose with clarity helps you stay grounded when facing uncertainty. Affirming that you trust your reasoning helps you break the habit of overanalyzing. Affirming that you stay calm in pressure strengthens your emotional control. These focus statements give your subconscious the guidance it needs to shape your decision-making skills. Nightly affirmations also help you let go of the emotional noise that often clouds your judgment. Throughout the day, you are exposed to stress, opinions, and unexpected challenges that may affect your thinking. When you program your mind at night with affirmations that center your emotions, you reduce the influence of daily tension. This helps you wake up with a clearer perspective. Decisions made with a calm morning mind are often wiser than decisions made under evening pressure. The work begins the night before, when you choose statements that clear emotional residue and restore balance. A meaningful part of using affirmations is consistency. Using them once or twice will not change your decision-making habits. Your subconscious needs steady input to reshape patterns. When you repeat affirmations every night, you reinforce the idea that you are in control of your mind. You build a habit of speaking to yourself with clarity instead of confusion. This steady repetition trains your mind to respond to challenges with focus and confidence. Affirmations also influence the way you interpret situations. When your mind is trained to look for clarity, you naturally notice details that support good decisions. When your mind is trained to think calmly, you avoid emotional reactions that lead to poor choices. When your mind is trained to trust itself, you stop seeking constant approval from others. Each of these shifts contributes to stronger decision-making, and they begin with the affirmations you feed your mind before sleep. In addition to guiding your thinking, nightly affirmations strengthen your emotional resilience. Good decision-making requires emotional balance, and affirmations can help you build that stability. When you affirm that you stay steady in stressful moments, or that you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, your subconscious begins shaping your emotional responses accordingly. Over time, you may notice that stressful decisions feel less overwhelming, and unexpected challenges do not shake you as easily. This emotional strength supports a more reliable decision-making process. Another powerful effect of nightly affirmations is the improvement of self-trust. Many people struggle with decisions because they do not trust their own judgment. They fear making mistakes and therefore avoid taking action. Affirmations can rebuild this lost trust. When you affirm that you learn from your choices, that you grow from each experience, and that you are capable of making meaningful decisions, your subconscious begins to internalize these beliefs. You stop fearing mistakes and begin viewing them as stepping stones. This mindset frees you from paralysis and helps you make decisions with confidence. Nightly affirmations also help you develop clarity about your values. Good decisions come from understanding what matters to you. When you affirm your priorities, your mind becomes more aligned with your long-term direction. You stop making choices that go against your core values and start making decisions that reflect the type of person you want to become. This alignment makes decision-making faster and more accurate because you no longer hesitate between conflicting desires. Another benefit of affirmations is the reduction of mental noise. Overthinking is one of the biggest obstacles to good decision-making. When your mind is filled with conflicting thoughts, you become stuck in a loop of analysis that never leads to action. Affirmations that promote simplicity, clarity, and direction help quiet this internal noise. They remind your mind that you do not need to process everything at once. You learn to prioritize. You learn to filter. You learn to focus on what truly deserves your attention. The more you use affirmations, the clearer your thinking becomes. You start recognizing patterns that help you understand which decisions support your future and which ones pull you away from your goals. Your intuition becomes sharper because your subconscious is being trained to identify what aligns with your intentions. This inner clarity makes decision-making less stressful and more intuitive. You stop doubting yourself and start trusting the signals your mind sends you. Affirmations also support logical thinking. When you affirm that you think with reason, your mind becomes less influenced by fear-based assumptions. You begin analyzing situations with balance instead of emotion. This allows you to break down complex decisions into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel prepared. Instead of rushing, you pause and think. This mental clarity is built through nightly guidance that gradually rewires your thinking. As you continue programming your mind with affirmations, you may notice that your decisions become more aligned with your intentions. You begin choosing actions that support your growth. You avoid distractions more easily. You feel more certain about your direction. Each night's affirmation becomes a quiet investment in your future clarity. These repetitions strengthen the part of your mind that understands what you want and knows how to help you get there. Nightly affirmations are not about perfection. They are about training your mind to support you rather than derail you. They are about shaping your internal dialogue into something steady, clear, and strong. Over time, these affirmations build a mindset that makes decision-making smoother and more confident. You begin trusting your path and navigating life with a sense of purpose that is grounded in inner clarity. Improving decision-making through nightly affirmations is a simple but powerful practice. It helps you direct your thoughts, strengthen your emotions, and reinforce your values. With consistent practice, your subconscious becomes an ally that guides you instead of confusing you. Each night, you plant mental seeds that shape the way you think, act, and choose. Over time, these seeds grow into a mindset capable of making strong, clear, and confident decisions. Chapter 9. Boost daily performance by activating deeper mind clarity. Daily performance improves when your mind is clear, steady, and free from the mental noise that usually dictates your reactions and choices. Many people approach each day with a scattered mind, trying to function through layers of worry, unfinished thoughts, and emotional tension that weaken their focus. When your mind is crowded, your energy becomes divided, your attention becomes inconsistent, and your motivation becomes unstable. Activating deeper mind clarity changes the way you show up in your daily life because it gives your thoughts direction, purpose, and structure. With clarity, you move with intention. Without clarity, you move through habit and impulse. The difference between these two states determines the quality of your performance every single day. To activate deeper clarity, you must first understand what creates mental fog. Fog forms when your attention is pulled in too many directions at once. It forms when you hold on to unnecessary thoughts, ignore your emotional needs, or carry fears that drain your mental strength. This fog leads to procrastination, self-doubt, and inconsistent effort. Recognizing this is the first step in changing the way your mind works. When you become aware of what clouds your thinking, you gain the ability to clear it. Awareness shifts your starting point from confusion to understanding, which is essential for clarity. Clarity is built through deliberate choices. One of the most important choices you can make is simplifying your internal world. Many people overwhelm themselves by trying to manage everything mentally at once. The mind functions best when it focuses on what matters rather than trying to juggle endless concerns. By simplifying your internal space, you give your mind room to think clearly. This simplicity is not about reducing your goals. It is about clearing the unnecessary thoughts that interfere with your ability to move toward them. When your thinking becomes clean, your actions become more precise. Another way to activate deeper clarity is to create intentional pauses throughout your day. These pauses act as mental resets that help you break the cycle of constant thought. They give your mind a moment to slow down, reassess, and realign with your priorities. When you regularly pause, you prevent your mind from drifting into autopilot. These short breaks sharpen your awareness and allow you to make decisions based on clarity instead of impulse. This habit improves performance because it keeps your mind from becoming overwhelmed by continuous activity. Clarity also comes from emotional stability. When your emotions are scattered, your thoughts become scattered. Emotional tension can distort your judgment and distract you from your goals. Activating deeper mind clarity requires understanding your emotional patterns and regulating them gently. This does not mean suppressing feelings. It means acknowledging them, understanding their source, and guiding them into balance. When your emotions are centered, your thoughts become sharper, making daily performance smoother and more effective. Another key part of clarity is prioritization. Many people try to do everything at once, which dilutes their energy and weakens their focus. When you prioritize, you direct your mind toward what is meaningful rather than what is immediately calling for attention. Prioritization helps you preserve mental energy, reduce stress, and stay consistent. It teaches your mind to distinguish between what is important and what is simply urgent. With clear priorities, your daily performance becomes stronger because your efforts are focused rather than scattered. Activating clarity also involves recognizing the behaviors that drain your attention. Distraction is one of the biggest obstacles to daily performance. When your mind is constantly pulled toward irrelevant activities, your ability to stay productive weakens. Becoming aware of your distractions allows you to reduce them. You learn to step away from habits that steal your time and energy. This awareness strengthens your self-control, making it easier to stay aligned with your goals. Over time, reducing distractions becomes natural, and your mind adapts to working with greater focus. A meaningful part of activating deeper clarity is engaging with your tasks fully. Many people complete tasks while thinking about something else. This divided attention slows progress and reduces the quality of their work. When you give your full attention to a single task, you access a deeper level of performance. Your mind becomes more efficient. You complete tasks faster. You make fewer mistakes. This state of full engagement helps your mind enter a flow-like rhythm where productivity feels natural rather than forced. Clarity also grows when you strengthen your inner discipline. Discipline is not about strict rules or pressure. It is about consistency. When you build routines that support your well-being, your mind becomes more organized and predictable in the way it handles challenges. Small habits such as waking with intention, organizing your tasks, and reviewing your progress help create mental structure. This structure allows your mind to operate efficiently because it no longer wastes energy on disorder. Over time, discipline strengthens your clarity by giving your thoughts a stable path to follow. Creating space for reflection is another powerful way to activate mind clarity. When you reflect on your day with honesty, you learn from your choices and refine your approach. Reflection helps you understand what improved your performance and what weakened it. It helps you recognize patterns in your behavior and teaches you how to adjust them. This clarity allows you to make better decisions in the days ahead. Reflection turns your experiences into lessons rather than repeated mistakes, which enhances your ability to perform consistently. Clarity also requires learning to detach from unnecessary mental weight. Holding on to worries or replaying past events creates mental exhaustion. When you detach from thoughts that no longer serve you, you free your mind to focus on what matters now. Detachment does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing not to let unproductive thoughts control your mental space. This habit strengthens your clarity by preventing your mind from being consumed by unrelated concerns. Once you master detachment, your daily performance improves because your mental energy is preserved for meaningful tasks. Another important practice is strengthening your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself shapes the clarity of your mind. Harsh or chaotic thoughts create confusion. Supportive and balanced thoughts create stability. When you consciously guide your inner dialogue, your mind learns to work in your favor. You begin encouraging yourself instead of doubting yourself. You begin directing your thoughts rather than reacting to them. This internal guidance improves your performance because your mindset becomes a source of strength, not a source of conflict. Activating deeper clarity also involves sharpening your awareness of your physical state. Your mind and body work together. When your body is tense, tired, or neglected, your mind becomes foggy. Taking care of your physical needs supports mental clarity. This includes proper rest, hydration, and movement. When your body is in balance, your mind becomes more alert and capable. This physical alignment enhances your daily performance by giving your mind the energy it needs to function at its best. Another method to boost clarity is practicing intentional focus at the beginning of each day. When you wake with direction, your mind becomes more effective. Setting a clear intention in the morning guides your thoughts throughout the day. This intention acts as a compass that keeps your mind aligned with your values and goals. Instead of reacting to random events, your mind follows a chosen direction. This clarity improves your performance by helping you move through the day with purpose. Clarity deepens when you allow yourself to slow down. Many people rush through their tasks, believing that speed equals productivity. But rushing often leads to mistakes, stress, and mental exhaustion. When you slow down enough to think clearly, your performance improves. You become more precise in handling tasks, you reduce errors, you conserve energy. Slowing down helps your mind stay connected to your actions instead of being consumed by urgency. With this practice, clarity becomes a natural part of your day. Another practice that activates clarity is simplifying your goals. When your goals are complicated, your mind becomes overwhelmed. But when you simplify them, your mind can focus on one step at a time. This makes progress easier and more consistent. Simplifying your goals does not reduce their value, it makes them more achievable. With clearer goals, your mind gains direction, which strengthens your performance each day. As you continue building deeper mind clarity, you will notice improvements in your ability to concentrate, prioritize, and follow through. You will find that tasks that once felt stressful become manageable. You will feel less overwhelmed by daily challenges because your mind is no longer clouded. Your decisions will be wiser, your actions more deliberate, and your progress more steady. Clarity enhances not just your performance but your entire way of living. Boosting daily performance is not about pushing yourself harder. It is about guiding your mind into a state where clarity drives your actions. When clarity leads, your energy is used wisely, your focus becomes sharper, and your confidence grows naturally. Each day feels more structured and less chaotic. You move with purpose instead of confusion. Over time, this clarity becomes your foundation, allowing you to perform at your highest level with calmness, strength, and awareness. Chapter 10. Shape a better future by guiding your dreams wisely. Your dreams carry the thoughts, emotions, and intentions you feed your mind each day, and when you guide them with purpose, they become powerful tools for shaping the future you desire. Dreams are not random events that appear without meaning. They are reflections of your inner world, shaped by your beliefs, your fears, your hopes, and your thoughts. When you learn to guide this inner world deliberately, you give your future a clearer direction. The subconscious uses your dreams to process information, settle emotions, and reorganize your thoughts. By feeding it the right ideas, you help it form patterns that support growth, confidence, and resilience. Guiding your dreams wisely is not about forcing specific outcomes. It is about setting your mind on a path that aligns with the life you want to build. The process of shaping your future through dreams begins with understanding that your subconscious is always active. Even when you sleep, it continues to sort through your experiences and impressions. If your mind ends the day filled with confusion or stress, your dreams will reflect that internal chaos. But if you direct your thoughts intentionally before sleep, your dreams begin to support your mental clarity and emotional balance. This guidance helps you approach the next day with a clearer sense of direction, allowing you to make better choices and handle challenges with more strength. A powerful way to guide your dreams is to set a gentle intention before sleep. This intention acts like a quiet instruction to your subconscious. It tells your mind what to focus on as you rest. The intention can be something simple, like wanting more clarity, wanting to understand something better, or wanting emotional strength. When repeated consistently, these intentions help your dreams become more structured and purposeful. You may begin noticing that problems feel easier to solve, or new ideas appear without effort, because your mind is working in the background while you sleep. Another way to shape your dreams is by clearing your emotional state before bedtime. Dreams often absorb unresolved emotions, and if you carry tension into the night, that tension becomes part of your subconscious processing. When you release heavy emotions before bed, your dreams become calmer and more constructive. This emotional clarity not only improves the quality of your sleep, but also strengthens the way your mind works the next day. You wake up with a lighter heart, allowing you to approach your goals with greater focus. A helpful practice is reflecting on the direction of your life in a calm and honest way. This reflection is not about worrying or overthinking. It is about understanding what you want to improve and what you wish to leave behind. When you think about your future in a steady and intentional manner, your subconscious begins forming dreams that align with your deeper desires. You influence the way your mind organizes your goals, helping you move in a direction that supports growth. This nightly reflection becomes a gentle conversation with your future self, guiding your subconscious to shape the path ahead. Guiding your dreams wisely also involves removing thoughts that hinder your progress. Many people carry mental stories that limit their possibilities. These stories may have been formed through fear, disappointment, or criticism, and they become barriers that influence the way your dreams unfold. When you intentionally replace these limiting thoughts with supportive ones before sleep, your dreams begin to reflect a stronger version of you. You may notice that you feel more capable or confident in your dreams, and this confidence carries into your waking life. Another effective method to shape your future through dreams is visualizing the type of life you want to experience. This visualization should be simple and calm, without pressure. When you picture yourself acting with clarity, achieving personal growth, or handling challenges confidently, you give your subconscious a model to work with. The subconscious responds strongly to imagery, and when you visualize in a peaceful way, your dreams begin to echo that imagery. Over time, this strengthens the habits, emotions, and choices that support your goals. Guiding your dreams also helps you understand yourself more deeply. Dreams have a way of revealing the thoughts and emotions that sit beneath the surface. When you guide them wisely, you begin to see patterns that influence your life. You may notice certain fears that appear repeatedly, or certain strengths that show up without effort. Understanding these patterns gives you insight into your inner world. It helps you make better choices during the day because you know what thoughts support you and which ones need to be changed. Another important aspect of shaping your future through dreams is giving yourself permission to grow. Many people unconsciously limit themselves by holding on to past versions of who they were. These limitations show up in their dreams as hesitation or resistance. When you remind yourself before sleep that you are allowed to grow, you break these internal barriers. Your dreams begin to reflect new possibilities instead of old fears. This shift gradually influences your waking life, helping you act with more openness and confidence. A valuable practice is examining the dreams you remember without judgment. This examination is not meant to overanalyze, but to understand the messages your subconscious may be revealing. Sometimes, dreams highlight concerns you have ignored. Other times, they show the areas where you are gaining strength. By paying attention to these messages, you learn how to adjust your mindset. This reflection helps you grow because you understand what your subconscious is trying to communicate. To guide your dreams wisely, you must also create a peaceful environment before sleeping. A calm environment tells your mind that it is safe to relax, making your dreams more supportive. When your surroundings are quiet and steady, your subconscious becomes more receptive to your intentions. You sleep more deeply, allowing your mind to process your thoughts more effectively. This deeper rest improves your emotional stability and strengthens your daily performance, allowing your future to unfold with more clarity. Another way to influence your dreams is by practicing mental detachment from daily stress before sleeping. When you detach from the noise of the day, you allow your mind to settle. This mental space makes it easier for your subconscious to focus on growth rather than stress. Over time, this detachment becomes a habit, helping your dreams become a place of restoration rather than confusion. A well-rested subconscious supports a stronger future because your mind is no longer trapped in daily tension. Shaping a better future through your dreams also requires patience. Your subconscious needs time to adapt to new thoughts and intentions. You may not notice immediate changes, but with consistency, your dreams begin to shift in tone, content, and emotional atmosphere. As your dreams change, your daily behavior changes as well. You become more focused, more confident, and more aligned with your goals. This gradual transformation is the result of guiding your inner world night after night. Another important practice is reminding yourself of your long-term goals before sleep. When your subconscious knows what direction you want to move in, it begins helping you find the mindset that supports those goals. You may wake up with new ideas, solutions to problems, or a renewed sense of motivation. This happens because your dreams helped reorganize your thoughts in a way that aligns with your future path. Guiding your dreams wisely also strengthens your intuition. Intuition becomes clearer when your mind is uncluttered and your subconscious is trained to focus on what matters. Dreams help refine this inner guidance by revealing patterns and offering insights. As your intuition strengthens, you become better at making decisions that support your future. You stop overthinking and start trusting the inner clarity your dreams help you build. Over time, as you guide your dreams with purpose, you will notice a shift in how you view your own potential. You begin to see yourself as capable of growth. You begin to act with greater courage. You begin to build habits that align with your deepest intentions. Dreams become a quiet training ground where your mind rehearses the version of you that you are becoming. Your future is shaped by the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you carry, and the vision you hold for yourself. By guiding your dreams wisely, you strengthen all three. You influence the very foundation of your mindset, creating an inner world that supports your progress. Each night becomes an opportunity to shape the life you are building. Each dream becomes a quiet step toward a stronger future.